And welcome once again. This is Velvet Al here, not remembering which of his podcasts he's doing. Oh, that's right, Velvet Al watches movies so you don't have to. Luckily, you know what podcast you're listening to. If you don't, that's kind of weird. Did you just put, random on your podcast machine and it came upon this? If that is the case, I hope you enjoy and decide to listen to other episodes of my podcast. And if you don't, just hit play on other episodes of my podcast and put it on mute without actually listening to it, so it still counts as a play for my statistics and for my ad revenue, of which I'm currently at $2 I've earned from ads on this podcast. Woohoo! It might be slightly more, but $2 is nice comedic effect. On the comedic effect of the comedic rule of threes, I went with 2. So this week I am watching Assault on Devil's Island. And how I came upon choosing this film was I was thinking I haven't done any erotic thrillers yet. Which is kind of weird because they seem like the perfect movie for me to include here because A, they're always very bad, and B, they always include a lot of boobs. So why I haven't done them yet, I don't know. So I figured, okay, well, let me do a Shannon Tweed movie because she is the queen of erotic thrillers. Which, strangely enough, she was in Hot Dog the movie, which I did in a previous episode. So I have done a Shannon Tweed movie for this podcast, just not a Shannon Tweed erotic thriller. And that's still not going to change, because I don't think this is an erotic thriller, but while I was doing a search for Shannon Tweed movies, this one came up, and automatically I had to go with it, because it stars Hulk Hogan and Carl Weathers, which means probably Jesse Ventura has a small part in this. Jesse Ventura, I don't know. Well, that awful made-for-TV biography movie made it seem like he's in every Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. So why am I thinking Jesse Ventura's going to be in this film because Hulk Hogan's in it? I mean, I guess that guarantees that Jesse won't be in it because Jesse hates Hulk Hogan because Hulk Hogan's a fucking lying piece of shit that screwed everyone over in terms of trying to start a union of wrestling. I guess I was just going with the fact that Carl Weathers was also in Predator with Jesse Ventura. And that's close enough. So, okay, you've got Hulk Hogan, Carl Weathers, and Shannon Tweed. So that's enough for me to give this movie a try. This is going to be glorious. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be an erotic thriller because I don't think the Hulkster is going to do any sex scenes. And truthfully, I will be grateful if this does not have any sex scenes. No, I have not watched his sex tape because the idea of Hulk having sex just goes against everything I believe in. I was a Hulkamaniac as a kid, and I choose to believe he's still pure and good, and that wasn't really him in the NWO in his heel turn. That wasn't him. I refuse to believe that the Hulkster could do that to us. So this is all my long-winded way of saying I'm going to watch Assault on Devil's Island so you don't have to. So we start off, it's nighttime on the beach, and the Hulkster's doing some Tai Chi. I think Tai Chi. Because he's doing a lot of martial arts posing, not any actual moves, and I think that's what Tai Chi is just poses. Maybe it's Taibo. No, I think Taibo actually involved a lot of actual movement. But yeah, I think Taibo didn't really use for fighting either. So that might have been just posing. Well, pretty much he's posing because he's the Hulkster. And he's wearing a wig. Just a luxurious full head of hair. Which, come on, Hulkster. Why? We all know you're fucking balding. And come on, you own it. You, Mick Fleetwood, and Benjamin Franklin own the balding head, long hair look. So why are you wearing this wig to be like, oh no, I have hair? Like, Hulkster, we love you because you have balding long hair. Why? Why must you like? I don't know. I like the look. I've tried to look. I can't pull it off. Hulkster, he pulls it off. Like, you know what? I want a movie where Hulkster plays Benjamin Franklin, or Mick Fleetwood, or Mick Fleetwood plays Benjamin Franklin, or Mick Fleetwood plays Hulk Hogan. I want some sort of combination like that. Hulk Hogan and Mick Fleetwood are twins. Hollywood, are you listening to me? Do this. So, I think when I read the description, it said this film was like 95 or 96. So, this is before he goes full heel with the NWO. He's got a beard. I think he had a beard. Maybe he shaves that off back into his iconic mustache. And so this is kind of like the low point of Hulkamania. And this is after a steroid trial, so he doesn't have his 24-inch pythons anymore because he can't be doing steroids. Because you can't do that, brother. I wonder if, like, while making movies, I've mentioned several times in the past few, like, episodes about my kitten that I got, like, pretty much during the break of the show, so it wasn't beforehand. And he does this weird, like, purr snore, but he only does it when I'm recording this podcast. It is so weird and distracting. So, but Hulkster does not have his 24-inch pythons, but he's doing his sweet little ninja moves or something. The way he's looking, I think he's supposed to be like ex-military who's like who the world has turned their backs on him, and he's just on his own. He's a mercenary. That's what I'm guessing. Okay, so before I forget, I gotta bring this up because I'm watching the credits, and which I started watching them after I made my Tybo joke. You know who's in this film? Oh my god. Billy Blanks is in this fucking film. His name's there in the credit. So, yeah. We're gonna say it. He was doing Tybo in the beginning of the film. And Billy Blanks just taught him how to do Tybo. I don't know. That's the story, and I'm going with it. This is like major, like, made-for-TV movie vibes on this, too. And I'm picturing when they pitched this to Shannon Tweed, probably the main selling point, even more so than, you're going to get to work with Hulk Hogan, was you're not going to have to take your clothes off for this film. And she probably doesn't get a lot of offers like that. So she signed up for it. And so the military plane is flying, and the title screen says that it's Operation Longbow or something, and it seems to be related to like the drug division or something. Yeah. If this is your first time listening, I'm not very good at giving apt descriptions, and I only half pay attention to these films, so yeah, you probably would be better off kind of like Wikipediaing the plot points. Although this film probably doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. It's one of those Wikipedia pages that just say, starring Hulk Hogan and Shannon Tweed, release so-and-so, no one gave a fuck. And I think, like, now that I'm getting a closer look, I don't think Hulk even has, like, the full mustache. He just seems to have stubble all around. So he must have really cared about this film if he shaved this mustache for it. Like, because usually, like, he'll keep the mustache and then just try to grow a beard around it, but you could still see his glorious mustache in full force. And it's not here. So, again, this had to have been, like, the ultimate, like, low point of Hulkamania. And he's like, fuck it, I will do anything at this point. Even shave the mustache. So I think this is the part of the film where we get to meet all the soldiers in the team, and I've already kind of forgotten half of them because they are very, like, nondescript. But there's a guy, which I'm not sure if I'm going to call him Goatee Boy, because he has a goatee, or Z-Man, because he has a Z shaved into the side of his head. Goat Z. Yeah, he will be Goat Z. He's sleeping, and Hulkster wakes him up. I'm not sure if it was intentionally or unintentionally. And so he pulls the gun on the Hulkster, and Hulkster pulls a giant fucking knife. Like, that's not a knife. This is a knife. Except the other guy had a gun. And I think he's Australian, the Goat Z guy. So that joke would work. Except, he has a gun, not a knife. And Hulkster's like, I don't know if I could have guys that are gonna snap. Snap into a Slim Jim. See, you can't have people that snap, because Macho Man snaps. And, they don't have a good history together, but Hulkster was a little too friendly with Miss Elizabeth. Oh, yeah. Okay, I can't do a good Macho Man impersonation, but neither can the guy that's playing Macho Man on Young Rock. So I say we're about even, as far as the voice goes. Obviously, I don't look anything like Macho Man. I don't have the body. And Hulkster's talking to Carl Weathers, and Hulkster had a bad dream, and it's making him question the mission or something. I don't know. He had a bad dream, and Carl Weathers is like, I don't know. I'm sure Carl Weathers said something inspiring to the Hulkster. Now we're at some rich resort or on some sort of private island or something, and this guy, who I'm going to call fake Ricardo Montalban, because he seems to kind of going for that vibe, he's tasting some cocaine, because he's going to buy some cocaine, but, you got to try it first. Actually, he didn't even try it. The person who tried it was Shannon Tweed, with the worst Russian accent, like fucking worse than Lana was doing in WWE. There's going to be a lot of wrestling references in this episode, because Hulkster. It just lends itself to continually throwing wrestling references. But, yeah, you don't hire Shannon Tweed for her acting abilities. So, yeah, her Russian accent is very iffy, but it's Shannon Tweed. And she's not sniffing it, she tastes it. Which, I don't know, I guess that's the way to tell a good level of cocaine without getting high off of it. Is that how it works? I don't know, like, I've never done coke, so I don't really know, like, the specifics of it, the mechanics of it. I don't know. But apparently it's good coke. And I think she's buying it. I'm not sure who's buying the coke. And they're having some issues with the negotiating of percentages. So I don't know what the percentage is. Like, is it they're going to sell the coke and one of them has to take like a certain percentage and they're haggling, and Shannon Tweed thinks like the percentage is too low, so she uses her own techniques of negotiation, which is to fuck him. And even though this is a made-for-TV movie, it must be made for like Cinemax or something, because out come the boobs. And we're only like 8 minutes, so yes, this film passes the Velvet Owl test. Boobs within the first 15 minutes, that is the Velvet Owl test, and this film passes it. Because it's Shannon Tweed. I honestly was not expecting her boobs to come out, but why wasn't I expecting that? It's Shannon Tweed. It's kind of a given that her boobs are going to pop out. I think there might be like 2 or 3 movies in her entire filmography where her boobs don't come out. And even then, I think she still like strips down to her underwear. So, but it was a pleasant surprise because I was not expecting it. And she wraps her legs around the guy, and I thought she was about to kill him because she's squeezing super hard, and he says he can't breathe. And I would be fine if that's one of the ways I would be fine with dying. Crushed between the thighs of Shannon Tweed. Which would be second only to being crushed between the thighs of Famke Janssen, like in GoldenEye. Which, Even though there was no nudity in that, still, like, just one of the sexiest scenes ever. One of the sexiest murder scenes in history. Oh, what am I saying? One of the it, it's the sexiest murder scene in film history, and maybe in the entire history of humanity. But Shannon Tweed's boobs. This film passes the Velvet Owl test. So the military guys, they're all getting ready because they're gonna jump out of the plane because, that's what they do. You know, you jump out of planes. It's just cooler that way. And one guy has tarot cards that he's just handing to everyone, which I guess is supposed to be like their destiny or whatever. And Hulkster, well, he doesn't pull the card. He tells the guy to pull a card for him because, I don't think Hulkster's all too much into it. And the card that gets pulled is death. And like, oh no, that's an ominous sign. But Hulkster's just like, that card's for my enemies, brother. Okay, he doesn't say brother, but damn it, Hulk, if you're not gonna have your fucking mustache in this film, then I need you to say brother like every other sentence. Just gotta give me something here, Hulk. So the group, I guess they're Navy SEALs. They must be Navy SEALs. They drop into the jungle, going through the jungle. There's no predator, so they make it to their location. Although, how cool would that been? Just kind of randomly, they get taken out by a predator, and it's up to Hulkster to take out the predator. I now want that film. Hulk Hogan versus Predator. I'm on to something. I'm on a roll with all these potential film projects for the Hulkster. I just had quickly tossed on Facebook that I'm watching this film with Hulk Hogan with no mustache, and one of my friends who's probably a bigger wrestling fan than me pointed out that there was a angle done in WCW at the time where they shaved Hulk's mustache. So it must have been for this film. So their answer is that. I was kind of wondering, say, I must have not been watching at that time. So I'm kind of like, how would have that worked with Hulk shaving his mustache? But I know around in the late 90s, he would disappear for months at a time. So I figured it was just during one of those disappearances, he shaved it off and it grew back because he's fucking manly. And it just grew back quickly in time for him to come back with the mustache. So they reached their target location, the villa in the middle of the jungle that has a pool. So someone built this. And I don't know why stuff like that just kind of throws me out. Someone there had to be a whole is this supposed to be a secret residence for this drug lord? Because people had to have built this stuff and dug out the pool. Does he kill them all afterwards? Does he take out the contractors? Or does he just know the right crooked contractors to deal with this? That could be a good film, too. Just some drug dealer and having to deal with the contractors for building his secret drug hideout. And Hulkster takes out one of the guards by shooting poison dart at him, or a tranquilizer dart. And he's like, never jams, brother. And again, he didn't actually say brother, but I want him to say brother. I want him to say brother with every line of dialogue. And Goat Z, dude, he's like, unless you inhale. And then meanwhile, other guys that are also doing reconnaissance, and they see they're at the pool area, and Shannon Tweed comes out in her bathing suit. And I was kind of hoping for a bikini, but bathing suit, yeah, she's got to keep some modesty, I guess. And the guy's looking at her like, well, we know she's not hiding any weapons. And the other guy's like, depends on what you consider weapons. Oh, boy. So, these two, zingers back to back. Did Shane Black, ghostwrite this? Because, actually, no, Shane Black does have, actually witty dialogue. Problem is, early on in Shane Black's career, is that they would then rewrite. Because in Hollywood, you write a screenplay and then it gets rewritten like 15 times and bears little resemblance to your original screenplay, but you still get the credit for it. And so people think you're a horrible writer. So Shane Black had a lot of movies where his dialogue got rewritten into that kind of crappy, like, fourth grade humor, quips. So that's why I think Shane Black wrote the original draft of this. So Hulkster and Goat Z are making their way through the house, and they come upon the office where fake Ricardo Montalban is sitting, and he was waiting for them. Turns out Goat Z, he's a traitor, and he knocks out Hulkster. Cheap shot with the butt of his gun from behind, because otherwise Hulkster would not be going down. It's a cheap shot. Meanwhile, tarot card guy and some other guy, they're rushing in, and they think, okay, all the guards are gone. There's just a gardener. Should be easy. Just take out the gardener. But no. Gardener, he's got a gun. And he kills them. And some other guards watching through the window. This was kind of like a bad plan, I think, on their part. Like, oh, we're just going to assume the gardener is unarmed. Because, yeah, massive drug dealers don't arm their gardeners. Just in case. You know, everyone's fucking armed, of course. Because he can't trust anyone. People can sneak in at any time and try to take out the gardener, so the gardener's got to be armed, too. And so they're dead. The tarot cards go flying. Would have been funny if, like, the death card landed on him, but no. I guess they want this to be a little bit serious. Carl Weathers, he's leading his squad into the hangar, and it's like, but there's no cocaine anywhere. Oh no, he realizes it's a trap. So he manages to get his squad out right before the hangar blows up. And then everyone's shooting at him, and he's got one of those, like, machine guns, but, like, this, I don't know, is it a machine gun? You know, like this, the side arm that usually has, like, a helicopter, that type of machine gun. Because he's a complete badass. And those always look badass when, like, the army guy's got that. Like, it's always a mercenary that has it. So he's got that, but it's kind of a flamethrower as well. Kind of. Because there's, like, a flame on the end of it, but it's not going anywhere far enough to be effective at all. So, I don't know. Maybe it's defective and it just caught fire. I don't know. Why does this machine gun have a flame at the end of it? Maybe, like, it's so that when the bullet flies, the bullet catches fire and it burns as it hits its target. Which seems a little unnecessary, if you ask me. A little overkill. So I think the bullet will do enough damage on its own. You don't have to add the fire to it. And then there's more gunfire, lots more, and stuff gets blown up good. Real good. And Hulkster, he's been handcuffed, and fake Ricardo Montalban has taken him to the poolside. Because I guess this can't be done in the office, which I guess I can see. Because if you're going to kill a guy, you don't want to do it in the office and have the blood get on the carpet, because it's going to be hell to get that out. So you do it outside on the stone side of the the stone floor, which I imagine blood is probably easier to clean up there. And he's threatening to chop off the Hulkster's head and fill it with cocaine and send it back to the U.S. government. Which I gotta admit, that'd be kind of badass if he did that. Even not necessarily the Hulkster's head. If he just... Like, I'm just saying. Like, I'm not rooting for this guy, but it is kind of a badass power move if you chopped someone's head off, filled it with cocaine, and sent it back to that person's government. Of course, if you're filling, like especially Hulk, he's got a big head. So if you're filling it, that's an awful lot of cocaine. Do you want to use all that cocaine just to make your point? And plus, you got to ship the head. That's like, once you chopped off his head, are you shipping it? Like, are you sending it by freight mail and someone's got to deliver it? And how's it going to pass customs? Because the drug dogs are going to smell that cocaine and they're going to open it up and they'll be like, holy fuck, this is the Hulkster's head. So, on second thought, this is not a very good plan of yours, fake Ricardo Montalban. But it doesn't matter because Shannon Tweed saves the Hulkster's life and starts kicking ass, and Hulkster breaks his handcuffs because he's got Hulk strength. And they start fighting together, and she drops her Russian accent because apparently she was undercover. She kind of disappoints me. I was hoping that we would get that horrible Russian accent for the whole film, but I guess we're done with that. There's only so much you can ask of Shannon Tweed's acting ability. She can only hold that Russian accent for so long. Shame. What could have been. But, so they're kicking ass together and fighting, and then here comes Carl Weathers with his flamethrower machine gun. Which, I don't know, maybe, I think it's just supposed to be the muzzle fire. And it just seems like too big to just be, like, is it called the muzzle fire? Whatever, you know what I mean, like that flash when you fire off a gun. And I don't know, I've never actually fired off a gun, but it just seems like it's very exaggerated that they did this for the machine gun, because I've not seen it done this big like in other films. So it seems like it's too big to just be that muzzle flash, but it's too small to actually be like a flamethrower. So, I don't know. But, flamethrower machine gun. There's an idea. Do not make that. Because weapons are out of control to begin with. We do not need that in real life. But it would look cool in a movie. Just saying. But, Goat Z guy, he kidnaps one of the remaining members of Hulkster's team. And he's like, you're going to come back, because Navy SEALs never leave their own behind. And Hulk Hogan, he knows, I gotta have a plan, and I can't just go rushing back there, but I will come back and hunt him down. And yeah, he says that he's gonna hunt this guy down. So they leave. But Hulk Hogan will be back, and he will get his revenge on Goat Z. I hope my fan doesn't bother people. I had to turn it on because it is fucking hot as fuck right now. My balls are sweating to the walls, like Little John says. Now all these bitches crawl. Skeet, 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 motherfucker. You know, I bet you weren't expecting me to bust out into Little John in the middle of watching a bad Hulk Hogan movie. But anyhow, they're following Shannon Tweed because she's hot, so you always follow the hot girl. It's just the rule of the jungle. And she leads them to the beach, where at the bottom of the ocean, which I guess, you know, closer to the shore, so it's not too far down, there's a lot of scuba gear. Luckily, enough for all of them, including fake Ricardo Montalban, who they kidnapped, or captured. He's a prisoner. So they didn't really kidnap him because he's the bad guy and they're the good guys. So it doesn't count as kidnapping. But, you know, I don't know how she decided that they needed that many scuba gear. Because, you know, I'm guessing, you know, I forget, did she say she was like CIA or DEA? Because if she did, she probably mentioned it like 5 minutes ago and I've forgotten already. But, you know, she's obviously with the government, with a government. I'm guessing the American government, because she got rid of the fake Russian accent and she's speaking with an American accent. So, but she didn't have like any backup. So did she go specifically knowing that Hulk Hogan's team would be there, which she was there first. So how did she even know that they were going to attack at this point? So how did she know that they were going to need that much scuba gear, including enough for fake Ricardo Montalban? And I mean, luckily some of Hulk's team died. I mean, so, but I don't know, maybe there was enough for all the team members, so there's just now going to be like unused scuba gear at the bottom of the ocean. So then they go swimming in the ocean, but oh no, there's sharks there. And it's a real shark through green screen. And he attacks one of them, and now it's a rubber shark. And he's chewing on one of the guys, and Carl Weathers, I was going to say Hulkster, but no, it was Carl Weathers who did this. Although I think Hulkster got a cheap shot in. He punched the shark, it did nothing. What the hell? It's Hulkster. Well, I guess this is like late 90s Hulkster. This is post Super Steroid 24-inch Pythons Hulk Hogan and before NWO Hulk Hogan. So yeah, I guess maybe his punches don't quite pack quite the punch. Yeah, I know how stupid that sounded. His punches don't pack quite the punch. Bite me. But Carl Weathers comes, and he shoves a grenade down the shark's mouth, which is enough to get the shark to swim away far from them, luckily. Luckily, the shark doesn't stay right there. And there's an explosion that I think was made using Windows 95 and just kind of plopped onto... Like, it's obviously, like, they didn't even have the budget to have, like, an explosion happen there. It's like... And it's not even, like, bad CGI explosion. It's like clip art explosion. And it doesn't kill the shark. Shark then swims away. So I don't know what the fuck. This is like fucking Super Shark. It's a good thing that the shark swam away, because the grenade couldn't kill him. So imagine if he wanted to stick around, he would fucking eat all your asses. And they swim some more, and luckily, they now start swimming above the water, because then the submarine sees them. Which, granted, if the submarine was submerged, I don't know, can a submarine see what's going on underwater? I think so. I don't know much about submarines. I know about subs sandwiches, and they are delicious. A submarine, you can try to eat one, but it ain't so delicious. But, yeah, whatever. It's the guy in charge of Hulk's mission. Hulk's boss, I guess. He's saved them because he knew they were in trouble. I don't know, I guess maybe they set off a special message and they knew where in the ocean to find Hulk. So they get all carried aboard, and the military takes away fake Ricardo Montalban, who claims that it's not over. Which, unfortunately, he's correct, because we're only like a third through the movie. So, unfortunately, it is not over. And Hulk's boss is wondering who Shannon Tweed is and wants to take her in for questioning. And she's like, you know, I'm with something, and you're just not high enough in command to know that I was on the secret mission that you guys just completely blew. But Hulkster, you know, he can't take it that they're arguing because, more importantly, 2 of his men are dead. And, you know, that's very solemn, and everyone realizes, whoa, you know, we're not focusing on the right things. And that's the fact that Hulkster's crew is down 2 men. Take a moment of silence. And then a doctor comes and says, like, oh, you know, we gotta go change your band-aids. Because he's got... I guess he must have been the one the shark bit. Unless there's something else at some point that I forgot. But his side is all bandaged and bleeding. But Hulkster, you know, he doesn't care. He's just gonna bleed all over the place. You know, because... I don't know, I guess he has time to bleed. Jesse Ventura didn't have time to bleed. But Hulkster, I guess has enough time to bleed. He just doesn't have time to go get the bleeding stopped. So Hulkster wants to go back to the island because, remember, one member of his team is still trapped there, and he wants to get that punk that sold him out, that fucking traitor. But his boss is like, we can't do that right now. We got the bad guy. We got fake Ricardo Montalban, and he was the mission, and I'll see what I can do, but we can't go for him until the time is right. And Hulkster looks at him and says, the time is right now, brother. He doesn't, but I so wish he would just... That should be his thing. You know how like Keanu Reeves always throws in, whoa, and Matthew McConaughey always throws in, all right, all right, all right. Why can't Hulk just throw in brother into every film he's in and just every line? You know? In fact, what would have been fucking awesome, and probably the screenwriters wouldn't know this well enough to throw it in as a joke, but if after like they told him he can't go back to the island, he was just like, that doesn't work for me, brother. Yeah, look that up. That's what Hulk would say anytime one of the wrestling promoters out suggested something he didn't like. That doesn't work for me, brother. So Hulk quits his position because he's going to go there one way or another, and the U.S. isn't going to back him up. He's going there on his own. And Shannon Tweed chases after him, even though, you know, she's still supposed to, you know, talk to the other douche fake Tom Berenger, because he looks like Tom Berenger, but he's not Tom Berenger. I'll just call him that. Fake Tom Berenger. He wants to talk to Shannon Tweed, but she's like, you know. She said something. I don't remember, but she runs up to Hogan, who's getting in his Humvee, and she's like, how did I know you would drive something like this? He's like, I am what I am, brother. Or sister. You know, he never said sister to the women. You know, shouldn't Hulk, anytime he talks to a woman, go, sister? No, he's forward thinking. You know, he doesn't see gender. If you're a man, woman, transgender, intergender, you're brother. And Hulk tells her, I am what I am. And she's like, you and Popeye. Now, Shannon Tweed wants to join Hulkster on the mission because she has to get the diamonds back because of reasons. I didn't quite understand why, but she needs to get them back. And, you know, Hulkster, he doesn't want her along. Not like any sort of like chauvinistic, like sexist reasons, because I'm sure he knows that, you know, she can handle herself and kick ass because he's seen it in action. But I think this is personal for Hulkster, and I think he just wants to go at it alone. But Shannon Tweed insults his manhood. Like, if you're any kind of real man, you'll take me along. And he's like, all right, brother. And so she's going with him on this mission. Now, fake Ricardo Montalban is talking to his lawyer, and his lawyer is, you know, trying to get him out of jail for the time being, you know, through legal means, as any good lawyer would do. No, fake Ricardo Montalban, that's not the way he rolls. And he wants the lawyer to send a message on to his, like, flunky or something. I don't know. I'm not sure who the message is getting sent to, but that person has to get Ricardo Montalban out of jail. And then this other guy, he's going to have to find Shannon Tweed and kill her. And if the lawyer isn't willing to do this request, then it's his wife that's going to be killed. Which, how's he going to do this? Actually, like, the logistics of it. Because he needs the lawyer to get these messages out. So if the lawyer doesn't do it, who's going to send the message out to have the lawyer's wife killed? See what I'm saying? If Ricardo Montalban can get these messages to his people by himself, why does he need the lawyer as like an intermediary? Intermissionary. I don't know. You know what I'm saying. The go-between guy. And also annoying me is, and I don't know if this is just the fault of, like, the streaming service is kind of, like, just jumping or what, but it seems like it's overdubbed, this dialogue, and it's not matching up. It's, like, horrible. Which, if it is... Wait, why is it overdubbed? This whole thing's in English, right? I mean, all these actors are in English. Maybe, like, this guy himself can't speak English. And it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Hercules in New York, where they had to, like, overdub all his dialogue because he couldn't speak English very well. I don't know. I don't know if it was he couldn't speak at all, or if he just didn't speak it very well. So they just overdubbed all his dialogue. So maybe that's what they did with this guy? Or it could just be, like, the streamers just kind of hiccuping. Either or. So now Hulk has taken Shannon Tweed to his house, which, according to the title screen, the on-screen credits, what do you call it? You know, like, because it's not the full title. It's not, like, taking up the entire screen. It's just, like, the subtitle at the bottom of the screen telling you, like, the location. But it's not really a subtitle, because subtitles are about the dialogue, right? Well, anyways, on screen it tells us that it's somewhere in the Florida Keys. So I guess Hulk's house is, like, top secret, classified or something. Like, because when at first, like, it says somewhere in the Florida Keys, I was thinking, like, okay, some undisclosed location that they're, like, hiding out in, but it's just his house. So why doesn't it just say Florida Keys? You know? I understand you don't want to be super specific and give out his address, but, I don't know, somewhere in the Florida Keys. And Shannon Tweed's not wearing a bra because even though she can't just fully show her tits because she's sharing a screen with the Hulkster, and that don't work for him, brother. Can't show full boobs, but she wants to make sure that you remember she has nipples. And her nipples are poking out. It's the nipple poke of doom. Another reference, if you want to look it up. The finger poke of doom. Where was I? See, god damn it, Shannon Tweed. Your boobs keep fucking distracting me. Even though they're covered. But your nipples are poking out. And that's distracting enough. And Hulky starts bleeding again from his wound. Because, you know, he hasn't bothered to, like, actually get it taken a look at. He's, like, just walking around like, I got a wound. I'm not gonna bother. So Shannon Tweed, she's gonna, you know, help him out with that. And so she does the whatever surgery. And she's digging along and pulls out the shark's tooth. So the shark left a tooth in him. So I guess he was the one that got bit. But it wasn't bad enough to do much more than kind of like a flesh wound, it seems. That, you know, just keeps bleeding. But Hulk looks at the shark and he says, I hate sharks. And immediately I have flashbacks to No Holds Barred, where he tells the guy, I hate Dookie. Which is one of, like, I have to say, one of the greatest scenes in cinema history. The guy shits his pants, and Hulk's just sniffing the air, and he's like, what's that smell? And the guy's like, Dookie. He's like, I hate Dookie. I'm going to find a way to make that my ringtone. So that way, if on a very rare occasion that someone calls me, and when people call me, it's generally just bill collectors and telemarketers anyhow. So I guess this would be appropriate. So just to make the ringtone, I hate Dookie. I hate Dookie. I hate Dookie. It's nighttime now, and Hulk is fast asleep on a hammock. I would say, you know, maybe he's being gracious and leaving his bed for Shannon Tweed, because he's a gentleman. But the size of his house is pretty big. He's got to have, like, a guest bedroom, right? A second bed. Or maybe not, because, you know, he's Hulkster. He's not letting people come over. Remember, fucking somewhere in the Florida Keys. His house is classified location. He's not bringing people over. He doesn't have friends. And Shannon Tweed has stripped down to her underwear because, of course, she has. But at least she has a bra on this time. So it's only slightly distracting. And she's just snooping all around the house because, I don't know, I guess, well, I guess if you're a secret agent, then maybe you just kind of, it's second nature. That if you're in a new place, you gotta search around to completely understand your surroundings. And she comes across a walk-in safe. I don't know, it's like a big fucking steel metal door and there's like a keypad next to it. So there's something behind her, maybe a glimpse of Hulk's life before. And she thinks about it. But I think she's not going to attempt to break the code. Which, I mean, for a second she's looking at it like she's just going to fucking pop in some numbers and open it up. I mean, I don't know, is code breaking one of her skills? Or it's Hulkster, so you just like type in the date that he won the heavyweight championship. Now, the American national gymnastics team or something, I don't know, some gymnastics team has won some sort of prize at some competition, and they're being celebrated for some reason. So they're all happy, and this woman comes up like, oh, on the behalf of so-and-so cruise lines, you've won a trip to the Bahamas, so let's just hop into this plane and don't bother, asking any questions whatsoever. You've just won this prize, and we're going to take you right now. Just right fucking now. No, don't ask any questions. Of course they don't ask any questions. They're just like, free trip, let's get in this plane. But then, Coach suspects something weird is going on. Because, they're going to the Bahamas, but they're going in the wrong direction. And so he demands to see the pilot and want to know, why is the pilot flying the wrong way? The pilot? It's Goatsy. Oh no. He has now kidnapped the American national gymnastics team that he's probably going to hold hostage to free Ricardo Montalban or get the diamonds or something. And he shoots the coach. Which, they're in a tiny, plane. They're in, one of those, that fits, 5 people, private planes. So, is shooting a gun in one of these planes, a good idea? I mean, is it even a good idea in, a big plane while it's flying? I mean, just first of all, the sound, if you're in that small of a capacity, isn't it gonna be, echo the sound of the gunshot and just totally, blow your eardrums and shit? And, what if it ended up hitting the window and blow out the air pressure or something? That happens in other movies that I've seen. Now they land on Devil's Island. Why did I make... Yeah, it's spooky. No, it's just run by a lot of guerrilla soldiers and shit. And they take the gymnastics team. The coach isn't there, so I'm guessing he's dead. He got shot, so he must have died from that. And I hope someone pulled the body out of the plane. And I don't know, maybe they just dumped the body into the ocean while they were still flying to Devil's Island. I don't know. I need to know what happened to the coach's body. Meanwhile, Goatsy gathers up the gymnastic team, except for one girl that he takes off because, according to him, they're America's sweetheart, and she's the sweetest of them all. And she takes them off. The rest of the team gets put in a prison that's somewhat submerged in water. And they're all crying because they need to be released. They don't know what's going on. But what of the sweetest of the sweethearts? What has Goatsy having planned for her? Back at Hulkster's house, Shannon Tweed has changed into another set of underwear. But she's got one of Hulk's t-shirts, or not his t-shirts, it's a dress-up shirt, because she's got to leave it somewhat open, for some modesty. She actually does bring a question, because she tells Hulk that, you know, she needed to borrow a t-shirt to sleep in. Oh, wait, what? I'm like, why doesn't she... No, it does add the question, why doesn't she have clothes? Like, she did not bring, like, something to sleep in? Like, here I'm thinking, like, oh, she went straight from, like, you know, the mission to the house, which is possible, but still. We know that she has had 2 pairs of underwear. 2 sets of bra and underwears. Bra. You know, I still... Why isn't it a pair of bras? You know? You got a pair of pants fitting 2 legs. But a bra? It's fitting 2 boobs. Shouldn't it be a pair? I think it should. I am still petitioning for that to happen. But anyhow, you know, Hulk's kind of upset. And, well, she's upset because there's no coffee. Because, you know, he doesn't drink coffee and he has no guests. So, like I surmised, you know, no one comes to his house. So that's probably why he doesn't have a spare bedroom. Which I'm just still assuming he doesn't have a spare bedroom. But he's kind of upset because if she's wearing one of his shirts, that means she's been snooping and going through drawers and going through stuff. And he wonders, has she been in the room that's behind the metal door that can only be opened by the right code? What do you think, Hulk? Like, you think she managed to crack the code? I mean, I guess if she was persistent enough and you don't have a failsafe where after a certain amount of tries you get locked out. But I mean, I guess, you know, you could be upset just if she's... just the fact that she attempted to get in there. So Hulk relents and he opens up the door, and behind it's just a massive stash of weapons. Just assault weapons and assault weapons, and God bless the Second Amendment. Hulkster, he's ready. He's prepared for war. And then suddenly Carl Weathers just shows up. So I guess Carl Weathers knows where Hulkster's house is. And he just shows up, and Hulkster's trying to convince him to join in on the mission, but Carl doesn't want to because he's 30 days away from retirement. You know, what is it with action movies that black people are always like a month away from retirement? You know, there's Lethal Weapon and Lethal Weapon 2, and I think by Lethal Weapon 3 they just gave up on this whole idea that Danny Glover was going to retire. But he still was too old for this shit. So really just this movie and Lethal Weapon are the only ones I can think of where the black guy's like 30 days from retirement. But still. But they rope him in because, you know, after his 30 days he wants to start up a business, a private security business. And Shannon Tweed tells him that, you know, if he helps recovers the diamonds, he gets 20% because the United States has like a reward program or something. I don't know. I don't fully understand it. All we need to know is that he will get 20% of the diamonds. Or I imagine 20% of the cash equivalent of the diamonds, and not that they're going to give him 20% of the diamonds themselves. Now, the sweetest of the sweet gymnastics team. Sure, Gym Hearts. Someone take that name, Gym Hearts, for your team. Go for it. She was forced to make a video that's sent to the U.S. government saying that, you know, they're kidnapped, and if they don't get fake Ricardo Montalban back to the Devil's Island by tomorrow, 6 p.m., 6:05 p.m. Another reference. Haha, wrestling references galore. I don't know if it was 6:05 p.m. And I don't feel like rewinding back to find out what exact time it was. But we're going to say they went with 6:05, which would be funny. And fake Tom Berenger, he just wants to, like, fucking blast this place and just go guns a-blazing and take them out. But fake Tim Meadows, who, I don't know, is president or the head of something. He doesn't seem like a military guy. He's in a suit. So he's something. And he thinks, these are gymnastics. They're America's sweethearts. America loves them, apparently. I don't know at what point America fell in love with gymnasts, other than, like, Carrie Strug. But I'll take his word for it, that the Americans love these gymnasts too much. They can't endanger them. And, who gives a fuck about this drug dealer? Let him go. There will be more drug dealers to capture. So, I think it's a wise plan. Okay, I mean, yeah, you're kind of negotiating with terrorists here, but... Come on. Honestly, he probably would have gotten off anyhow, because the lawyer probably would have figured out some way to, like, get him extradited or something. So this was all nonsense, really. Ricardo Montalban, fake Ricardo Montalban, you should have just let your lawyer do his job. Now, Hulkster is trying to train Kyle Weathers and Shannon Tweed in the fine art of crushing coconut within the palm of your hand. Like, one-handed coconut crush. And, Kyle Weathers is like, this is just ridiculous. Shannon Tweed, she's taking it seriously. She's gonna try. And, goddammit, I believe in her, and I thought she was getting close and she was about to do it, and they were attacked. Helicopter comes by and a bunch of black ops-looking guys are jumping out, but, of course, they're no match for a Hulkster who's learned how to run in slow motion from that time he was on Baywatch. And Carl Weathers, he's just kicking ass because he's Carl Weathers. And Shannon Tweed just hiding off. Come on! Women's lib! I thought this was like a feminist film. Shannon Tweed should be out there kicking ass as well. And Hulkster gets a RPG missile launcher. And he shoots down the helicopter with, again, just these really, like, super outdated special effects. Even for that time. 90s had better special effects than this. This is almost on the level of, like, Who Killed Captain Alex. Which, if you've not seen that film, you should not see that film, but look up on YouTube the highlights. Like, watching the entire film is just mind-numbingly, like, gonna drive you batshit insane, but you get the highlights with all the boring parts, but there's about, like, 15 minutes worth of just beautiful, amazingly, just that pure level of so bad it's good. 'Cause that's the thing with so bad it's good movies, is that most of the time, like, it's boring for, like, at least 85% of the movie. But there's just, like, these moments where it's truly like, oh my god, I can't believe they actually did this shit. This is so... There's just no words for it. And those 15 minutes of Who Killed Captain Alex fall within that. Just the amazing, like, the special effects seem to have been done completely in Microsoft Paint. And it's fantastic. You should... Those 15 minutes is much better than any 15 minutes of Assault on Devil Island. But, yeah, so the good guys, they win, and they're ready. They're going to go after the bad guys. So our heroes start loading up on the boat, getting ready to do their mission, when up comes fake Tom Berenger. And I'm not really doing that for dramatic effect. It just took me a moment to try to remember what I was saying. So, I like my dramatic pauses to cover up for me trying to remember what's going on. And they think fake Tom Berenger is going to poo-poo their idea of, like, going in to save the last Navy SEAL and, take out Goat Z and all that. But no. Because fake Tom Berenger, he's pissed. Because he's got to give up and hand over fake Ricardo Montalban to Goat Z. Because the gymnastics are kidnapped But of course, there's a little gray area in that perhaps someone will get to the gymnast first. Wink, wink. That's you, Hulkster, Shannon Tweed, and Carl Weathers. And fake Tom Berenger, he'll help with what he can, give some recon and give them some cover, but, you know, it's completely covert, so things go wrong, they're disavowed, and, you know, if they were part of the Suicide Squad, they'd have their little bombs blown up to blow their heads up. And fake Tom Berenger gives them the skinny because they don't know about the kidnapped American sweetheart gymnast. But they know now, you know, they were already planning on doing this. But at least now they know that Goatsy, he's hiding out on Devil's Island. Which, unfortunately, it's so fortified. You can't get through land or through air. You got to get underneath, through the water. Shark-infested waters. And remember, Hulkster, he hates sharks. Goatsy is hanging out on the island, shirtless. I guess, like, just getting a tan or something. Which, you know, I mean, I guess while you're waiting, you know, might as well just get a tan. And he gets a phone call. It's from fake Ricardo Montalban, who's being escorted to the airship to be taken over. And Ricardo Montalban wants to talk about something, but Goatsy just hangs up on him. Uh-oh. Seems like there's some trouble in paradise. Ha ha ha. Another Hulk Hogan reference. Wait, no, it's Thunder in Paradise. Ah, fuck. Close enough. I just know something's fishy with Goatsy. Now, fake Tom Berenger brings fake Ricardo Montalban to the plane. It's one of those water planes. Is that what they're called? You know, the kind that land on water. The little, like, two-seaters. But Ricardo's confused. Like, what's this plane? Apparently Goatsy demanded, as part of his demands, that it's one of these planes, and that Ricardo Montalban's got to fly himself. Oh, the other part that fake Ricardo Montalban was not aware of? They're going to Devil's Island. I'm telling you, Goatsy, he's planning something. He's tricking fake Ricardo Montalban. See, fake Ricardo Montalban, if you just let your lawyer take care of things, you'd probably be free on your own. You know, I mean, maybe house arrest, but, you know, sometimes you just gotta let the lawyers do their lawyering. So our heroes get their scuba gear on, and they go swimming through the shark-infested waters, and encounter no sharks whatsoever. I mean, like, I thought this was going to be, like, a plot point, because, you know, they made a big deal about how there's shark-infested waters, and that's the only way to get in, and, you know, the whole history of Hulk Hogan hating sharks for some reason, other than getting bitten by a shark. I mean, I don't know, maybe is that the whole reason he hates sharks, is because he got bit by the one shark? Because it kind of seemed like he had a hatred of sharks beforehand for some reason. So, but they make it into the castle or whatever, they go through a pipe, not encountering any sharks. So maybe it's when they come back out that they're going to encounter the sharks. Because, you know, we've got fucking Chekhov's sharks now. Like, you brought up the sharks. There's sharks in the water. And Hulkster hates sharks. So we're going to have a Hulk versus sharks fight at some point, right? I can't think of a way to nod to it, but John Tenta, who was Earthquake in WWF, did become Shark in WCW. And I'm pretty sure he had a feud with Hulk at some point. So maybe that's where it leads from. He hates sharks because of his feud with the Shark in WCW. Okay, makes perfect sense now. And there's a fourth member in the team. I don't know who the fuck the fourth member is. At first I thought maybe it's fake Tom Berenger. But no, he's flying with fake Ricardo Montalban to make sure fake Ricardo Montalban doesn't just go fly off on his own to some random place or whatever that they can never find him. So, who is this fourth guy? I don't know. Because at no point did we get mentioned that they were going to look into getting another guy. Tom Berenger didn't mention anything about, like, okay, I'm going to hook you up with a fourth guy just to help even the odds a bit. We never saw them team up with a fourth guy. So some guy just tagged along. He probably was doing, like, just scuba diving for the hell of it and got lost from his group and accidentally hooked up with Hulk's group and was like, okay, guys, yeah, I think I might be in the wrong group here. Oh, well, it's too late. I might as well just keep with it. So the plane's now flying above Devil's Island, and fake Tom Berenger is talking to Goatsy on the phone. And he asks to see the hostages, because he's not going to land the plane unless he can see that the hostages are safe. And Goatsy is like, no, I'm not going to do it till I see fake Ricardo Montalban. And fake Tom Berenger's like, okay, you don't do it, you'll see fake Ricardo Montalban falling from this plane. And Ricardo Montalban gets on the phone and like, just stop it, stop dicking around, stop with your dick measuring contest and let him see the hostages. And Goatsy's like, okay, you'll get to see one hostage and not for long. Sounds very ominous. I think he's gonna shoot a hostage. Meanwhile, Hulk's group actually has 2 extra people that I was not aware of. So it's a team of 5. SEAL Team 5, we'll call them now, I guess, because I don't want to go through calling everyone's name, especially since I don't know who the fuck these 2 extra people are, but at some point, Hulk's team picked up 2 extra people, and now they've found some way to get from the basement area they were in through the pipe to upstairs or something. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I guess I kind of really don't even care all that much. So the terrorists grab one of the gymnasts, and they bring her up to the top, and the terrorist is holding her up. And Goatsy is on the phone, and he tells fake Tom Berenger, if you don't land the plane now, I'm going to throw her over into the water and something. I don't know. They're at the top of the castle, and the terrorist guy, Goatsy is not the one carrying her, but the terrorist guy is holding her up over his head, and they threaten to throw her overboard or throw her off the roof. Either way, she's going to die if they throw her. That's the point I'm coming to. So fake Tom Berenger has no choice but to land the plane. Or tell fake Ricardo Montalban to land the plane since he's the one that's flying the plane. Hulk Team 6 is walking around the perimeters of the castle, working their way up from the bottom, taking out any terrorists they see, and they start loading up C4 bombs. Is that redundant to say C4 bombs? They're putting little packets of C4 on the walls, which, do they even know where the gymnasts are? Because this plan could go awry, and in blowing up the walls, might kill the gymnasts. The walls might fall on them. I don't know. I mean, you know, it's all Team 6, so they probably know like how C4 works, and they've got it all planned out. But I'm just worried. I am worried for those gymnasts. What if Hulk Team 6 just fucks things up even worse for them? And now that fake Ricardo Montalban has been freed, he slaps fake Tom Berenger and tells the guys to take him down to the dungeon so that he could feel what it's like to be caged. Yeah, I'm not good at the accent. I'm not good at impersonations. We know that. But, you know, I think it's not quite the same thing. Because fake Tom Berenger is going to be in a cage that's partially submerged in water. That's a lot better than the fucking cage that you were in. Or, I mean, a lot worse. The cage you were in was a lot fucking better. You were very much, like, probably treated well and got to, you know, eat food, good food. Okay, maybe prison food, but still. Still, you probably were treated better than being in a dingy little dungeon down in the submerged something. Whatever. But They don't send the gymnast back because Goat Z, he wants to hold on to her because, have a pretty hostage. Which is important. The hostage has to be pretty. If you have an ugly hostage, people are like, let's take our chances. You got a pretty hostage, like, no, we can't let her die. Luckily, fake Tom Berenger gets saved by Hulk Team 6, who are hiding out in the castle, and they take out the terrorist, and some of them go off to one way, and Hulk, he's like, I'm gonna go up top to take care of the missiles, brother. Do I have to keep pointing out that he doesn't actually say brother? I just really, really wish he did. But so Hulk is going up, but the terrorist, turns out he's not completely knocked out. So he goes and he has a fight with Hulk. And Hulk starts hitting some jump kicks. Which, holy shit, that's got to be a stunt double. Because I ain't never seen Hulk hit a kick ever before. I mean, I think the only time he even lifts his leg is to do the leg drop. Which would have been awesome had he done the leg drop. Had he just done the leg drop on the terrorist, before the terrorist had a chance to come back up, it would have been over. But the terrorist manages to run away, so it's going to be trouble, because he's probably going to go tell the bosses, the head honchos, Hulk is around, and he's going to kick our asses, because he is Hulk. Now, Carl Weathers, Shannon Tweed, and one of the other guys finds the area where the gymnasts are being held, and they're behind this big steel door, and there's a guard. So they're thinking, like, okay, we gotta take out the guard. Shannon Tweed, for smart thinking, strips down to her underwear to distract the guard. Because it works! It works on me, because every time she is stripped down to her underwear in this film, or shown her boobs, or even just her nipples through a shirt because she was braless, it's distracted me. It is a good technique. U.S. government, if you ever need help, just send Shannon Tweed, have her strip down and distract the terrorists, and you can take them out. It's a good plan. So they've taken them out, but they can't get the door open. And they try blowing it up. And another, Windows 95 flash explosion. And the door still won't budge. I don't know. How were they opening the door in the first place? Is there a key that the guard doesn't have? Which I guess that's smart, that you don't want the guard to have the key, just in case, a situation like this arrives, and the good guys came and took out the guard. Because then they would have the key and be able to open and free the prisoners. So that is smart thinking on Goat Z's part. He probably has the only key. Meanwhile, Hulkster has caught up with the terrorist that escaped him, and they fight. They've got these big sticks and do a little jousting, American Gladiator style. And this was well before the American Gladiators reboot starring Hulk Hogan. Maybe this is where he got the idea. He had this jousting, and he's like, brother, American Gladiators should be brought back. Possibly. Now everything's intensifying, because now we're getting back and forth, lots of shit going on, because fake Tom Berenger and the other guy from Hulk Team 6 have made it to the top, and they started a firefight with the terrorists, which there's at least 10 of them shooting guns. So it's they're outnumbered, but they're Marines. There's Navy SEALs. There's something. I think they were Navy SEALs, which makes the Hulk Team 6 thing work. Where am I going with this? I'm sorry, they had another shot of Shannon Tweed in her bra, and like I said, it's just fucking distracting. But down in the dungeon, there was a bomb attached to a sewer pipe, or a water pipe. I don't know, might have been a sewer pipe. That would be even worse. But it's a water pipe, and the bomb goes off and bursts the pipe, and water starts filling up the dungeon, and it's filling up quickly, and like, oh no, are the gymnasts going to be saved in time, or are they going to drown because they can't get the door open? Meanwhile, there's still all the shooting going on upstairs on the top of the roof, and fake Ricardo Montalban tells Goat Z to get him out of here. And now would have been the perfect opportunity to take advantage of that pretty hostage you have. Stand up, show the hostage to distract the two guys. Remember, there's just two guys right now. And while they're distracted on the hostage, the 10 other terrorists shoot them. Like, it's not rocket science. It's just so easy. You've got the numbers advantage, and you can distract them. Because, you hold up the pretty hostage, they're going to stop and they're going to stand up. They're going to stand up. At the very least, they're going to stop shooting so that no bullets go astray and accidentally shoot the hostage. And at that point, you use the numbers game, and the terrorists just shoot them. Do I have to do everything here? Do I have to come up with all these plans? Oh shit, I just realized that the guy Hulk is fighting is Billy Blanks. I completely forgot that Billy Blanks was in this. But, yeah, they're fighting, and they get up to the rooftop and keep the fighting, completely oblivious to the fact that, there's all this gunfire going on that they could easily accidentally get hit by. They're like, nope, we're focused on this. And then there's a grenade that comes by them, so they stop the fight long enough to run away from the grenade. The grenade blows up, and then they go back to the fighting. And meanwhile, downstairs, Shannon Tweed has at least put pants on. Still hasn't put her shirt back on. Because, I don't know, what's the point at this point? Because, maybe, you're focused on, there's only so much time, so you gotta get the gymnast saved. So, yeah, okay, you don't have time to focus on putting your clothes back on, but you put half your clothes back on. Like, oh, it's probably just too distracting if my legs are showing. But your boobs are still just there, jiggling. Like, that's fucking distracting. I'm still distracted. I don't know what's going on in this film, because Shannon Tweed's boobs are just all over the place. But they figure out, well, if we just shoot the door with the machine gun, that'll weaken it just enough that the explosives will explode the door off, and it works. So they're gonna go and save. Remember, the gymnasts are still in the cage, but it should be easier now because now that the door's open, the water's spilling out, so they're not gonna be as pressed for time. So maybe Shannon Tweed can put a shirt on. Just a thought. I mean, personally, I would prefer not to put the shirt back on, but it seems like it'd be a better idea. And meanwhile, Hulk and Billy Blanks are still fighting, and Hulk throws Billy Blanks off the top of the roof, and Billy Blanks is dead now. So long, Billy Blanks. Your typo, I guess, just wasn't enough to overpower, because Hulkamania has run wild on you. And Hulk sees Goat Z and fake Ricardo Montalban running off to the jet or the helicopter or something. They're running off somewhere with the gymnast hostage that they have. The pretty hostage. But Hulk is too far to stop them, but he sees a rope. See, I'm very much hoping that he takes the rope and lassos it, and somehow I hope he lassos it onto the helicopter, and while the helicopter's flying, he's just swinging. That's my hope. That's my dream. Please let that be what happens. Please. No, Hulk just uses the rope to climb down the wall. That's a little anticlimactic. So he's running, but he just isn't fast enough to catch up to Goat Z and fake Ricardo Montalban, who take Pretty hostage into the boat, not the boat, the plane, the nice little plane that they were flying, and Goat Z wants his payment in cash, diamonds, and whiskey. Good man. Good man. I mean, you could use the cash and diamonds to buy your own whiskey. So is the price of the whiskey gonna get like deducted from what your share of the cash and diamonds would have been? Or is like that like an extra bonus on top? It's yeah. So many questions about the logistics of this. Meanwhile, back in the basement, Shannon Tweed, no, she still has not put her shirt on because this is too important, and they're trying to get the gymnast out of the cage. Will they be able to do it? And oh wait, now we're cutting back to the top of the roof where the other guy from Hulk Team 6 is on his own pretty much, just shooting at every terrorist. Man, he's outnumbered, but he isn't going down. Which, come to think of it, the one that got left behind, was he killed? We never really got confirmation that that guy got killed, did we? I don't think so. But I guess I have to assume that he got killed because where is he? Where's the rescue mission? I thought that was part of it. I thought they were going to rescue him. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Hulk said that, and that's what pissed him off with fake Tom Berenger not wanting to go, because he was going to rescue the other, like, Navy SEAL that got left behind. So, I understand the gymnasts are the top priority right now, but where is the Navy SEAL? Have you rescued him? Are you gonna look for him? I hope so. I hope he's safe. But anyhow, gunfire, and Hulk, he knows he can't just jump that far to hit the plane, but there's a motorboat, so he's gonna get on it, and Hulk Hogan is gonna motorboat. I don't know. Is that the motorboat? I've never actually motorboated, so I don't know. Is that like the sound you're supposed? Are you supposed to make a sound if you're motorboating, boobs? I don't know. That is a very interesting question. One that better men than me will have to answer. So we get more gunfire, more explosions, more dead terrorists. The gymnasts are saved. Shannon Tweed still hasn't put on a shirt. And Hulkster has caught up to the plane. And he throws the anchor at the plane. It lands and stops the plane. And Goatsy jumps out. And he goes to fight the Hulkster. And they fight and fight and fight. And just don't stop fighting. And eventually Hulkster pushes Goatsy into the water. Where Goatsy presumably gets eaten by a shark. I don't know. We don't see it. We see Goatsy fall into the water. We see a shot of a shark swimming. It just looks like stock footage that I think they already used earlier in the film. And then we see Goatsy struggle to get out of the water. And then Hulkster smiles. So I assume Goatsy got eaten by a shark. Remember, these are shark-infested waters that don't seem very infested. Because, I mean, Hulkster and his crew did not even encounter any of these sharks on their way back in. So, and they look like, the shark-infested waters, there's one shark. As far as I can tell, there was one shark that may or may not have eaten a terrorist. Because we don't see. We don't even see any blood. So, I don't know, maybe the shark just ate him like whole? Just one big gulp? I guess that's possible. So again, we just have to presume that Goatsy got eaten by a shark. So the heroes have saved the day, and now Shannon Tweed has put a shirt back on, and because now we're at the funeral for the dead soldiers. I don't know if it's the one, did they rescue the soldier that had got left behind? Because I was thinking okay, maybe they found his body and this is his funeral, but, then they talked about, wonder what he saw in the tarot cards. And Tarot Card Guy died. Like long ago, he was not the guy that got kidnapped or captured. So what happened to the guy that got captured? We'll never know. I'll just assume that he's the dead guy that they just buried. But yeah, Shannon Tweed has put some clothes on out of respect for the dead. And the other guys are dressed up in their Marine uniforms. Nice and snazzy. All in white. I don't know. Do Marines have like a black variation that they use for funerals? Like, shouldn't that be like, respect like your fallen soldiers? Just, I don't know. Just seems odd that they're all in white. And seeing Hulkster in all white, which even though, like, in his early days, he didn't always have the yellow and red. He did used to wear white trunks. But, so they decide, Hulk Team 6 is going to become a permanent thing to take care of the jobs that the military can't officially take care of. And, well, they call themselves Shadow Warriors, but I think Hulk Team 6 is a much better name. And instead of fading to black for the credits just roll while they're walking. The credits are just them walking towards the screen. Hulk Team 6. I don't know why. Why wouldn't you just go to black? And that would have looked better. Just throw my mind off. Well, that was Assault on Devil's Island. And I would talk more, but I think this thing has already gone on too long. No final analysis. Hulk with no mustache and Shannon Tweed's boobs all over the place. That's all you need to know. I'm out. velvetowl@hotmail.com if you want to leave any comments or suggestions or whatever. Or if you're listening to this on YouTube, leave a comment in the comment section. Be sure to subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Hit the notification bells if you want your balls fondled. No, I don't think that really happens, but whatever. Till next time.
Your points across. You don't have to fight a battle just to get your minds across, yeah.
Real quickly, I'd like to thank the Moving Image for providing this week's theme song called Cults. They are probably not aware that they have provided this week's theme song, because I'm a bastard like that. And I'm trying to avoid paying royalties. So, but I will pay them in exposure to my non-listeners. The Moving Image, check them out. You can find them on YouTube and probably other places. I stick to YouTube. That's how I find new bands. You can find new bands any way you want, but The Moving Image, and that song is called Cults.